structure is built around getting away. Getting away from the job, getting away from the routine, getting away from the life they made for themselves. And nobody stops to ask the obvious question, why did you build a life you keep needing to escape? A life you constantly want to run from is a life you constructed wrong. Somewhere along the way, decision by decision, you built something that doesn't fit you. And instead of changing it, you learned to tolerate it and then to escape it in small doses. The weekend became the reward for surviving the week. The vacation became the reward for surviving the year. But a reward for survival is not the same as a life worth living. You cannot escape your way to a good life. You have to build one. Today, I want to talk about 10 rules for building a life you'd never want to escape from. Not a perfect life, not a life without struggle, but a life you don't spend your days trying to get away from. A life where Monday morning isn't a punishment, where the ordinary days are good days, not just the ones marked on the calendar. These rules are simple. None of them require money you don't have or luck you can't manufacture. But most people never follow them. And that's exactly why most people build lives they can't wait to escape. Now, before we get into the rules, you have to understand something about how a life gets built. Because most people believe their life happened to them. They think circumstances handed them the life they have, and they're just living inside what they were given. That's not true. Your life was built by thousands of small decisions made over many years, most of them made without much thought. The job you took, the town you stayed in, the people you kept around, the habits you allowed. Every one of those was a choice, even if it didn't feel like one. And all those choices stacked up into the life you now have. The problem is most people make those choices by default. They take the job because it was offered. They stay in the town because leaving is hard. They keep the friends because that's who was around. They let the habits form because nobody stopped them. And then they wake up at 40 inside a life they never actually chose, wondering why it feels like a place they'd rather leave. You must understand that a default life almost always becomes an escape life, because nobody designs a default. It just accumulates. The people who build lives they don't want to escape from are the people who started making their choices on purpose, not all at once, not perfectly, but deliberately. They stopped drifting and started deciding. They asked themselves what kind of life they actually wanted to live in, day to day. And then they made choices that pointed toward it. And over time, choice by choice, they built something that fit. A life they were content to be inside of, not one they kept fleeing. So the rules I'm about to give you are really about choosing on purpose, about taking the wheel of your own life instead of letting it drift wherever the current takes it. And I'm telling you, the moment you start choosing on purpose, everything begins to change. Slowly at first, then faster. Until one day you look around at the life you've built and realize you're not looking for the exit anymore. Because there's no reason to leave a place you'd want to stay. Rule number 1, you must build your days around things you do, even if no one paid you. Because most people design their entire lives around what pays, and then wonder why the days feel hollow. They chase the money first and hope the meaning shows up later. It almost never does. You see, a life made entirely of things you do only for the paycheck is a life you'll always want to escape. Because the paycheck buys the escape, but the doing drains you. And the more it drains you, the more escape you need. You end up in a loop where the work exists to fund the getaway, and the getaway exists to recover from the work. Neither one is a life. Both are just maintenance on a life you don't like. Now, I'm not telling you to quit your job and starve for your passion. That's foolish advice. What I'm telling you is that somewhere in your days, you have to protect the things you do for free. The work of your hands, the building of something, the helping of someone, the learning of a skill. Whatever it is that pulls you in and makes the hours disappear, those things are not luxuries. They are the load-bearing walls of a life you'd want to stay in. You see, the person who has even one thing they do without pay has a source of meaning that doesn't depend on anyone's approval or any market. When the job gets hard, they still have it. When the money is tight, they still have it. It anchors them. It reminds them who they are underneath the transactions. Find that thing. Protect it. Give it real hours, not just the scraps left over after everything else, even if it never earns you $1, especially if it never earns you $1. Because the things you do for love and not for money are the things that make a life feel like yours. And a life that feels like yours is a life you don't need to run from. Rule number 2, stop building for a future you're not guaranteed to reach. This is one of the great traps of a modern life. You sacrifice every present day for some distant reward, telling yourself you'll finally live once you arrive. The promotion, the retirement, the day the kids leave, the day the mortgage is paid. You keep pushing the good life out in front of you like a horizon you're chasing, but never touch. The future you're sacrificing everything for is not promised to you. You might reach it. You might not. And even if you do reach it, you'll arrive as a person shaped by decades of postponing your own life. You cannot spend 30 years learning to defer joy and then suddenly on the appointed day, remember how to feel it. The muscle you didn't use has gone weak. You get to the horizon and find you've forgotten how to enjoy standing on it. Now understand me. I'm not telling you to abandon the future. Saving matters. Planning matters. Building toward something matters. But you must not trade every present day to fund a future day, because the present is where your life is actually happening. Right now, this year, this ordinary week, this is not the waiting room for your life. This is your life. And if you treat it like a waiting room, you'll spend the whole thing waiting. The people who build lives they don't want to escape have learned to hold two things at once. They save for tomorrow and they live today. They plant seeds and they enjoy the garden they're standing in. They don't mortgage every good hour to buy a future that may never arrive. Build for the future, yes, but not at the cost of the present. Take the walk today. Have the dinner today. See the friend today. Do the thing you keep saying you'll do when you finally have time. Because the future where you finally have time is a story, and the present where you actually have breath is a fact. Build a life you can enjoy while you're building it. That's the only kind of life that doesn't leave you empty when you arrive. Rule number 3, you have to be careful who you build your life around. Because the people closest to you are not just company. They are the climate your life grows in. And you cannot flourish in a climate that's slowly poisoning you. Most people don't choose the people around them on purpose. They just keep whoever showed up, the friends from before, the people who happen to be nearby. And they never ask whether those people are helping them become someone they'd want to be. You will become some average of the people you spend the most time with. Their standards become your standards. Their habits become your habits. Their view of what's possible becomes your view of what's possible. If the people around you are always escaping, always complaining, always shrinking their own lives, that's the water you're swimming in. And over time, you'll shrink to match them. Not because you're weak, because that's what proximity does. I once knew a young man with more ambition than anyone I'd met. He wanted to build something. He had the energy and the mind for it. But every person he spent time with was content to coast and quick to mock anyone who wasn't. Every time he got excited about a plan, they'd talk him down. Every time he tried something, they'd remind him how it might fail. Not out of malice, out of their own fear. They needed him to stay small so they wouldn't have to feel their own smallness. For years, he stayed in that circle because they were his friends, and leaving felt like betrayal. And year after year, his ambition dimmed. He started to talk like them. He started to shrink his plans to fit their comfort. He very nearly became one of them. What saved him was one decision. He decided to spend more time around people who were building and less time around people who were mocking. He didn't cut anyone off cruelly. He just changed where his hours went. And within 2 years, he was a different man. His ambition came back, his standards rose, his life started to move, all because he changed the climate he was living in. Choose the people around you on purpose. Spend more time with the ones who make you want to be better, and less time with the ones who make you want to be less. This is not cruelty, it is survival. Because a life built around the wrong people is a life you'll always want to escape, even if you can't say why. And a life built around the right people is a life that pulls you upward every single day. Rule number 4, you must stop outsourcing your happiness to things you don't control. Because most people tie their contentment to the weather, the economy, other people's moods, and 100 things they have no hand in. And then they're surprised when their happiness rides up and down like a leaf in the wind. They wake up trapped by whatever the day happens to bring, with no ground of their own to stand on. Here's the truth. A life where your peace depends on everything going your way is a life of constant anxiety. Because everything does not go your way. It never has and it never will. There's too much you don't control. The person who needs external circumstances to cooperate before they can feel all right is a person who will rarely feel all right. Because the circumstances are always shifting, and half of them are unfavorable at any given moment. The people who build lives they don't want to escape have found something to stand on that doesn't move. Their peace comes from the inside, from things they control, their character, their effort, their response to what happens. They can't control whether it rains, but they can control whether they let the rain ruin the day. They can't control what others do, but they can control what they do about it. And that control, small as it seems, is the ground everything else rests on. Now, this doesn't mean pretending nothing affects you. Things affect you. Loss hurts. Disappointment stings. But there's a difference between feeling those things and building your entire sense of well-being on top of things that could collapse at any moment. You must take back the pieces of your happiness that you gave away to the world. The world will not carry them gently. The world will drop them the moment it's convenient. Anchor your peace in what you control, your effort, your integrity, your attention, the way you treat the people in front of you. Those things are always available to you in any weather, in any economy. And a life anchored in those things is a stable life, a life you can stand inside of even when everything around you is shaking. That kind of stability is not something you'll want to escape. It's something you'll be grateful you built. Rule number 5, you have to fill your days with things that grow, not just things that entertain. Because there's a difference between a day that felt good and a day that made you better. And most people fill their lives entirely with the first kind. The pleasant distraction, the easy comfort, the thing that passes the time without leaving a mark. And they end up with years full of days they can't even remember because nothing in them grew. A life made only of entertainment is a life that empties you out over time. Because entertainment takes without giving back. It fills the hour and leaves you no different than you were before. Do enough of it, and you feel the hollowness, a nagging sense that your life is passing without accumulating into anything. Now, I'm not against pleasure. Pleasure is part of a good life. Rest is part of a good life. But there's a difference between rest that restores you and distraction that just runs out the clock. One leaves you refreshed. The other leaves you emptier than when you started and reaching for more. The people who build lives worth staying in fill their days with things that compound. They learn something, they build something, they deepen a relationship, they improve at a craft, they move their body, they read something that changes how they think. None of these are dramatic, but each one leaves a residue, a little more skill, a little more knowledge, a little more strength, a little more connection. And that residue, gathered over years, becomes a rich and layered life. You see, the difference between an empty life and a full one is often just the difference between days that entertained and days that grew. Both kinds of days feel similar while you're living them, but they add up to completely different lives. Trade some of your entertainment for growth, not all of it, but enough that your days start leaving something behind. Because a life that keeps growing is a life that stays interesting, and an interesting life is not one you want to escape. Rule number 6, drop the idea that comfort is the goal, because most people are quietly organizing their entire life around being comfortable, and they don't realize that comfort chased too hard becomes a cage. They want the easier job, the smoother path, the fewer demands. They arrange their lives to minimize discomfort at every turn, and they end up soft, bored, and strangely dissatisfied in a life with no edges and no challenge. A completely comfortable life is a deeply unsatisfying one, because the human being is not built to be comfortable. The human being is built to overcome, to strive, to test itself against something hard. Take away all the challenge, remove all the difficulty, and you don't get happiness. You get restlessness. You get the peculiar misery of the person who has everything easy and nothing meaningful. The comfort you chased turns out to be the thing you now want to escape. Look at the moments in your life you're most proud of. I promise you, they were not the comfortable ones. They were the hard climbs, the things you doubted you could do, the seasons you had to push through something difficult and came out the other side changed. Comfort produces no such moments. Comfort produces nothing worth remembering. And a life with nothing worth remembering is a life you'll spend looking for the exit. The people who build lives they'd never leave have made peace with discomfort. They seek out hard things on purpose. The challenging project, the demanding goal, the relationship that requires effort, the skill that takes years to master. They understand that the struggle is not the price of the good life. The struggle is a large part of what makes it good. The satisfaction on the other side of difficulty is a satisfaction comfort can never provide. Stop optimizing for ease. Start choosing some hard things on purpose. Not suffering for its own sake, but challenge that grows you and gives your days weight. Because the life you'd never want to escape is not a soft life. It's a life with enough difficulty in it to make you feel alive and enough triumph to make you proud. Rule number 7, you must build things that outlast the moment. Because a life made only of experiences that vanish the instant they're over is a life that leaves you with nothing to hold. And a life with nothing to hold starts to feel weightless and unreal. Most people spend their days on things that evaporate. The meal eaten and forgotten, the evening passed and gone. Nothing built, nothing made, nothing that remains. And they wonder why their years feel like they slipped through their fingers. There's a deep human need to make things that persist, to build something you can point to, a skill developed over years, a relationship deepened over decades, a piece of work you created, a garden you grew, a family you raised, a body of knowledge you gathered. These things are different from passing pleasures because they accumulate. They stay. They become evidence that your life happened, that your time went somewhere real. And that evidence gives your life a solidity that fleeting experiences never can. Now understand, this doesn't mean everything you do has to be monumental. You're not required to build a cathedral. But somewhere in your life, there should be things you're building for the long haul. Things you tend over years. Things that grow because you kept showing up to them. The craft you've practiced for a decade. The friendship you've kept for 30 years. The health you've maintained through discipline. These are the things that give a life its structure and its meaning. You see, the person who has built things that last has a kind of wealth that can't be measured in money. They have proof that their effort mattered. They have relationships with roots. They have skills that took years to earn. And all of that gives them a place to stand that the person with only passing pleasures does not have. Invest in things that last. Choose a few things worth building over years, and then actually build them. Slowly, faithfully, without needing immediate results. Because a life full of things you built and tended is a life with weight and permanence. And a life with weight is a life you'd never want to escape, because there's too much in it that's yours, too much you'd never want to leave behind. The person building for the long haul is building a life they'll be glad to stay inside of. Rule number 8, stop measuring your life against other people's. Because the fastest way to poison a good life is to compare it constantly to lives that aren't yours. And most people do this without even noticing they're doing it. They look at what someone else has and feel their own life shrink by comparison. They measure their inside against everyone else's outside. And no matter how good their life actually is, the comparison makes it feel like it isn't enough. There will always be someone with more. More money, more success, more of whatever you happen to be measuring. The comparison game has no finish line and no winner. However far you climb, someone is standing higher. And if you're measuring, you'll feel the lack. A person locked in constant comparison can never be satisfied with any life, no matter how good, because their attention is always on what they don't have instead of what they do. And that person will always want to escape their life, because their life will always look poor next to someone else's. Now, I'm not telling you to have no standards or to never be inspired by others. There's a healthy kind of looking at another person and learning from them. But there's a poisonous kind where every glance at someone else's life leaves you feeling smaller. That poisonous kind will rob you of the ability to enjoy anything you have. Because the moment you get it, you'll compare it to something bigger, and it'll turn to dust in your hands. The people who are content with their lives have learned to measure against their own past instead of against other people's present. Am I better than I was last year? Am I becoming the person I want to be? Is my life moving in a direction I chose? Those are the only comparisons that mean anything, because those are comparisons you can actually act on. The others just make you miserable and give you nothing to do about it. Turn your eyes back to your own life. Measure it against where you started, not against where someone else has arrived. Notice what you actually have instead of what you're missing. Because a life you're constantly comparing to others is a life you'll always find wanting. And a life you measure by your own growth is a life you can be proud of. Contentment doesn't come from having the most. It comes from wanting your own life more than you want someone else's. Rule number 9. You have to leave room in your life for the people you love. Because a life crowded so full of work and ambition that there's no space left for the people who matter is a life that will feel empty even when it's succeeding. Most people put their relationships last. They give their best hours to their work and the leftover scraps to the people they claim to love most. And then they're shocked years later when those relationships have quietly withered. At the end of a life, nobody wishes they'd spent more time at the office. That's not a cliche. It's a report from people who reached the end and looked back honestly. What they wished for was more time with the people they loved. More time with the children who grew up while they were busy. More time with the spouse they took for granted. More time with the friends they let drift away. And by the time they understood this, the time was gone and couldn't be bought back at any price. You see, relationships are not something you can save up and cash in later. You can't neglect your family for 20 years and then, when you finally have time, expect to snap the closeness back into place. It doesn't work that way. Closeness is built by presence, hour after hour, year after year. Miss those hours, and you miss the closeness. And a person surrounded by relationships they neglected into thinness is a person who will feel alone even in a full house. The people who build lives they never want to escape guard their relationships like the treasures they are. They show up. They're present. They give their people real time, not the exhausted remainder of a day spent everywhere else. They understand that a life full of achievements and empty of love is a poor life, no matter what it looks like from the outside. And a life rich in love is a wealthy life, even if it never made a fortune. Make room for the people you love. Give them your real hours, your real attention, your real presence. Not what's left after everything else has taken its share. Put them near the front of your life, not the back. Because a life full of deep relationships is a life you'd never want to escape, since everything worth staying for is right there inside it. The person who invested in love built something no amount of success could replace and no misfortune could take away. Rule number 10. You must become someone you're proud to be, in private, when no one's watching. Because you can build every other thing right, and if you don't like the person you become, you'll still want to escape your life. Because you can't escape yourself. This is the one most people never think about. They chase the external life and forget the internal one. They build the career, the house, the reputation, and neglect the character underneath it. And they end up trapped inside a person they don't respect. The one thing you can never get away from is yourself. You take yourself everywhere, into every room, every vacation, every quiet moment before sleep. And if the self you're stuck with is someone you don't like, there is no escape from that. No vacation cures it, no achievement silences it. The person who cut corners, who broke their word, who treated people poorly, who let their character rot while they polished their image, that person has to live inside themselves every day. And that is the one prison there is no leaving. They can escape their job, they can escape their town, they cannot escape the person they became. The people who are most at peace, the ones who never seem to be running from their own lives, are the people who like who they are when no one's watching. They kept their word. They treated people well. They did the right thing when the wrong thing was easier. And so when they're alone with themselves in the quiet, there's no accuser in there. There's no shame following them around. They can rest inside their own skin because the person in that skin is someone they respect. This is built the same way everything worthwhile is built. Slowly, through small choices made over years. The honest word when a lie was easier. The kept promise when breaking it cost nothing. The decent act no one would ever have known you skipped. Each one seems small, but they accumulate into a character. And that character is the person you'll be locked inside of for the rest of your life. Build a good one. It's the only cellmate you'll never be rid of. Become someone you'd be glad to be, in private, in the dark, when there's no audience and no reward. Because a life spent inside a person you respect is a life you'd never want to escape. And a life spent inside a person you can't stand is a prison, no matter how gilded the bars. So here's what I want you to carry with you. 10 rules for building a life you'd never want to escape from. None of them require money you don't have. None of them require luck. All of them require choosing on purpose instead of drifting into a default. Build your days around what you'd do for free. Don't sacrifice every present for a future you're not promised. Choose the people around you carefully. Anchor your peace in what you control. Fill your days with growth, not just entertainment. Stop chasing comfort. Build things that last. Stop measuring against other people. Make room for the ones you love and become someone you're proud to be when no one's watching. 10 rules. Simple to understand, hard to live, and most people never live them, which is exactly why most people build lives they can't wait to escape. You see, the difference between a life you flee and a life you'd never leave is not luck. It's not the size of the house or the number in the bank. It's whether you built the thing on purpose, out of choices that fit who you actually are. The person who drifts ends up somewhere they don't belong. The person who chooses ends up somewhere that fits like a home. Same years, same hours, completely different life. The only difference is whether they were paying attention while they built it. You don't have to start over to change this. You don't have to burn down the life you have and build a new one from scratch. You just have to start choosing on purpose from here. One decision at a time, one rule at a time. Pick the 3 of these that your life most needs and start there. The ones where you've been drifting the longest. Begin making those choices deliberately this week in small ways and let the change accumulate. Because the version of you 5 years from now is going to be living inside whatever you build between now and then. Build a default and you'll get a life you want to escape. Build on purpose and you'll get a life you'd never want to leave. The choice is in front of you every single day, in decisions so small you barely notice them. But those small decisions are the whole thing. They always were. Start choosing them well. And one day you'll look around at the life you built and realize you're not looking for the exit anymore. Because there's no reason to leave a place you'd want to stay.